Hello and welcome to another episode of Benchwarmer Basement Banner, and we're doing something a little different tonight.
Yeah, doing a little bit of fun, talking about some Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Guys were pretty dang good at what they do, so just like us, right?
Some would say great.
Not quite. Well, them. I mean us.
Yeah, well, no, we're pretty great.
Gives a few years, yeah.
Yeah, we are great. So great that you should take a shot on all of our socials.
Oh my gosh, dude. Look at that on the fly. That was brilliant.
We are Benchwarmers Basement Banter on YouTube, which is hopefully
more.
what you'll be watching us on here. But we're also BBB Sports Talk on TikTok.
This one's mine. Kick.
And then we're also on a platform called Kick, K-I-C-K. Great at spelling. Nailed it. And
I'll tell you, you're becoming very well-rounded, not just as an athlete, but as an academic, whatever you call that, student.
Yeah.
You're getting better at math on the show, at spelling.
Ooh, I wouldn't say I'm getting better at math on the show. Maybe on the show.
You started pretty low. I said better.
Yeah.
I said better.
Anything behind the scenes that you see me do math, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, guys.
Well, you know what? We'll work to get better. So we're having a lot of fun. That's what matters.
We're having so much fun.
But yeah, what else he said on all that good stuff. And,
check us out.
Wabash, thank you guys. Love the studio. It's great. And thank you, our own decor here. We don't give the bobbleheads enough of a shout out, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. So, yeah, there we go. I was thinking this one.
The big rig?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, we're going to talk Baseball Hall of Famers. First of all, I know we've had some fun. Now we have to do the boring part and talk the ground rules and everything and when this starts. Okay, so the 2025 Hall of Fame election, actually, the voting is going on now in December, which I'm not sure when this will air, but still relevant.
Yeah.
It ends the 31st, and it is announced on MLB Network. Check it out, January 21st, 2025.
Okay.
Did not see a time on that. Still throws me off seeing 2025, not going to lie. But the ceremony, the introduction ceremony is July 27th, 2025, for some lucky individuals. So, currently in the hall, I did not know this. Did you have any idea how many were in the hall?
I did not.
There we go. It's two of us. 346, which at first glance I was like, man, that's a lot. And I was like, wait, there's been a lot that if we're not going to go math here, but a lot have played this game. Like,
yeah, I believe the MLB started in like 1887.
That's quite a few players.
Yeah.
Quite a few gentlemen. So the way it breaks down is 273 players, 40 executives, pioneers, which I'm sure is like Branch Rickey probably falls in that category.
Yep.
He did some stuff.
He did do some things.
He did, yeah, apparently great too. So 23 managers and 10 umpires. Also, there are...
5 more years until Adrian Hernandez is available.
Oh my gosh! Let's throw him down there with the roid guys. He can have his own special place, like the closet in the Hall of Fame. Oh, he's terrible. And where is it? Also, 35 members from the Negro Leagues.
Yep.
Which, as you brought up, that was a couple years ago.
I think it was just this past year.
I believe you're right.
They incorporated all this. That's about mid-season this past year.
You're right. Which I think is a great thing. I really do.
Absolutely.
The biggest bugaboo for people on it was, okay, we can't really quantify, if these stats were legit. All the record keeping wasn't the greatest and everything. Yeah. And I always say, do you really think they counted all Babe Ruth's home runs in 1919 and all this stuff? There can be discrepancies and stuff. So I didn't care. The way I look at it, they were the greatest against who they played. Right. We're still playing the same game, baseball. So they deserve it. They were the best of the best in their league. Put them in.
Exactly. If anything else, the segregation actually robbed us from some prime years, from a lot of great players. Yeah. People like Satchel Paige that we didn't get to see him play until they were has-beens, more or less.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. He was pitching in the major leagues. 47-year-old rookie. Is that right?
Yes. I think he actually came back in 1965. The Athletics brought him back as a publicity stunt for one game.
Oh, my gosh.
Everyone knew that it was a publicity stunt, except for Satchel Paige, who came out there and threw 3 scoreless innings.
Oh, my gosh.
At the age of 57, I believe.
Holy crap. He's like, I still got it. I was doing Dennis Quaid stuff, but way older.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Which also, hey, guys, check out that episode you guys did, the movies one.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Back to rules. Man, we get so sidetracked. It's great.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Where? Okay, players to be in the Hall of Fame must receive 75% of the vote or elected from a special baseball committee group. Now, that confused me, the committee group, because I had heard of the Veterans Committee. Had you too?
Well, that apparently doesn't exist anymore.
Not anymore.
They've turned into this.
Yeah. What it is now, it's called an Eras Committee, and the way I understood, which correct me if I'm wrong, every platform out there, it happens. It sounds like they will each year pick from a different era. Like this one was, I think it was pre-1980s or 90s is what they said on this one. And I think they'll shoot for certain age ranges of it. Like,
yeah, maybe like certain eras that are like a little bit underrepresented or something like that.
Maybe they'll do the steroid era once. Hey, that's way underrepresented. But,
yeah, for good reason.
We'll talk about that. That's coming soon. But, okay, so there was 8 nominees for it this year, and I think that's the standard number they go off of. I believe it's under the same threshold where they have to get 75% of the vote for it, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. Is it a lot of the mocks I was looking at just had 2 listed? So maybe it's some of that. I'm not for sure.
Yeah.
But either way, there will be a few from that.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and like a lot of times that's guys that got passed over original voting. Because here's the kicker in the original voting that I didn't know until looking into this. These baseball writers can only vote for 10 names. Because there's certain individuals I was agitated about that we'll get to later.
Yeah.
That I thought should have had a bigger run at it.
Absolutely. Okay? I think that we both have the same name in mind.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. And we don't have it on, but we are Cardinal fans, so
yes.
you guys can probably figure that one out. Trivia question.
A guy that's becoming eligible this year is very comparable to him.
Yeah, I think he should get in, though.
Yeah.
I think. I'm sorry. I had the wrong guy. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They can be, let's see, where was I at? Okay, 10 guys these writers can pick, and here's the thing, you can have 10 years or 10 chances at the nomination process unless you fall below 5%, which once again, I was thinking, well, yeah, only 5%, that's terrible. Then I realized that they only can vote for 10, and I'm like, okay, when you have like 30, yeah, I'm like, I see why guys
they can only vote for 10, but they don't have to vote for 10.
Exactly.
You can vote for 0.
Yeah. I mean, there are, about said a bad word there. There are certain arrogant baseball writers that sometimes don't vote for guys like even Derek Jeter just because, I don't feel like it. Yeah. I think that's a crime. I really do.
Because if Babe Ruth wasn't unanimous, why should he be?
Why should he be? Yeah, that was some people's logic. We'll go ahead and jump to that. Like this unanimous thing, I believe Mo was the first.
He's the only.
You're right, because Jeter didn't. Yeah.
Jeter missed one by a certain writer that came out of the Boston area.
Yeah, which... Dude, come on.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, if you don't take it serious enough, like if you really think that and you purposely like keep from being unanimous.
If you're letting your fandom come and play with it, then you probably shouldn't be one of the writers involved.
Absolutely. Griffey was one that came to mind for me.
Yeah.
I think he missed it by 1 or 2. And I could be wrong, but I think one of them was like, well, didn't like the guy, arrogant in an interview. I'm like, who cares? You're voting off of their Hall of Fame credentials. Like, I could even almost see that argument more for like a borderline guy, but I'm like, when you kept him from being unanimous, like, I think that says something to your credibility.
Oh, absolutely it does.
Yeah, it's like you're creating double wrong there. But anyway, back off my high horse. Like I said, 5% you get removed. So, I'll go ahead and jump into my next question here. The Hall of Fame. A lot of these guys we've had in the last couple of classes, like, I don't know, and maybe I have a different perspective now because a lot of these guys I saw play. Are you the same way?
Yeah. Like, I mean, we're finally getting into the group of players that are the ones that we grew up watching.
Yes, exactly. Like all these guys that are just now eligible and retired, it's like, I can relate to some degree to seeing him play or have an opinion
We
on
got
him.
to see the entirety of their careers.
Yes, exactly. Which I guess that kind of, for some of my voting, like I always think of the Hall of Fame as like, okay, the elite of the elite,
Mm-hmm.
Like the best. Like you were an MVP candidate, you were all this and everything. And I guess I get skewed in my mind as I'm like, okay, how do you weigh that with longevity? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, would you rather have like a Mike Trout type career or say a guy who has a Rod Crew, for example, that had like counting numbers?
Yeah, exactly. Would you rather have a Hank Aaron or a Sandy Koufax sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a good example too.
Yeah.
Which Hank Aaron was great too. But yeah, I see your point.
But he played forever.
Exactly. So I don't know, but we'll get into our opinion on some guys. To start this off, I'm going to go ahead before we go to break and give you guys the list of guys that are up. We'll start with the Eras Committee. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You know this first gentleman, Luis
Tiant.
Tiant. Yeah. He played, I believe it was 70s before. Ken Boyer, that's Cardinal name.
Yes.
Know him a little bit. Got his
I believe he's on the wall somewhere.
He is. Yes, he is. Had some pretty big moments. Pretty special to us. Dick Allen played for the Phillies a long time. Good numbers. Tommy John. Heard of that before? It's also a player.
Okay. I didn't know he was a player. I thought that was just the surgery guy.
No, they made it after him, though.
Okay.
And
first person to have it, then, maybe.
That alone, I'm like, that's pretty cool. He also won like 270-some games. To me, that'll play.
I think that with the combination of that and being on your name.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's a pretty justifiable case there.
They said you can't put him in the Hall of Fame unless you can't tell the story of baseball without him. I don't think you can tell the story of baseball without him.
There you go. Yeah. Because I think before him, like that ligament in your elbow, lights out. Like you're done.
Or they just kept pitching.
No, that's fair. And their arm fell off. And
yeah,
there you go. Or they pitched with their hand, maybe. I don't know. But he's up. Dave Parker, Pirates back in the day, was a force. Steve Garvey played for the Dodgers for a while. Solid player. Now, these other two gentlemen came from the Negro Leagues. Vic Harris, who managed and played, and John Donaldson. Not the bringer of rain, Josh. John Donaldson.
John Donaldson.
Yes, I don't believe there's any relation there, pretty sure. But, like I said, this I don't have as much of an opinion on because we didn't see them play.
I know Dave Parker is a big, scary man.
Big, scary man. I believe he won a World Series MVP.
Yeah.
And MVP. Had over 400 home runs. I'm like, okay.
That'll play.
Yeah. Which, like I said, 400 home runs now is not as impressive.
I think the benchmark's 500.
It is, but back in his day, before steroids, everything, 400 was a lot more lofty than it is now. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So, him and the Tommy John, those are the two. And this hurts because I like Ken Boyer, the Cardinal part of me. But those were the two to me that I was like, okay, I would be good with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unanimous, but they had big contributions when they played. Won a World Series in Parker's case. So those are the two. Are those kind of your two guys too?
I think so. I mean, the Boyer, maybe a little bit biased because of the Cardinals.
Yeah. I think he won a World Series MVP too. So I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. And then Tommy John, like I said, you can't tell the story of baseball without his name in your mouth.
Right. Exactly. I guess Boyer, that's one for me. I'm like, man, I get that gray area of great or like, you were very good, sir. Good career, but man, I don't know, like, makes that prestige.
Yeah.
So the other two, those are the two I'd go with. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break right here, and we'll jump into the current guys that we've seen play a few more innings. So we'll be right back. Well, hey, and
we are back.
We are back. So we'll go ahead and jump in here.
Covered a lot of our bases, so
we have. Sorry about the slow start, but it's like you got to know the rules and everything because this changed my perspective.
For sure, yeah.
So, okay, so we'll go ahead and first give the guys that are still eligible, and then we'll jump into the new guys. Like this is gonna be the complete ballot. Like this is like the regular ballot. We're past the committee, so. If these guys go off, they go to that. But we've got Billy Wagner, who is entering his 10th and final year on the ballot.
Very close to getting in last year.
He was 75%, I believe it was. Missed it by
74 and some change to be exact.
Yeah, exactly. We'll round up for him, but still not it. So he was very close. You've got Andrew Jones, who was actually at 61.6%. The fractions, man. Struggle. So I'll just round it up. 62%, whatever. This is his 8th year on the ballot, so he's running out of chances as well. Carlos Beltran. This is a controversial one.
Well, I think that it's become more controversial in recent years as things have kind of been uncovered.
Unfortunately, when all this came out, he wasn't eligible yet, or I think he would have been in. Yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll just hit these guys as the percent if you think they're in or not. So we'll go back to Billy. I have a hard time judging closers.
I think he gets in this year.
I lean to think he was so close,
I think that, like you said, he was so close last year, and then they're like, okay, well, it's either in or out this year, and he just needed one more vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone flips, he gets in.
I think so, too. He had over 400 saves. If you look at it, he didn't have, like, the huge career closer Hoffman numbers, but the dominance...
There was a span where he was a bad man.
No one wanted to face him. Righties, lefties, it's like, no. It's like game over. It really is. Swing and miss stuff. From the lefty side, too, could arguably be the best lefty closer up there. So... I agree. Thinking in for Billy?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's in.
Yeah. Andrew Jones.
Not yet.
I circle back to Jim Edmonds on this. Do you want to go there?
Yeah, I do.
Let's
because
go
I think
there.
they're basically the same player.
I agree. I've really looked into this because, yes, I have to put my fandom aside. Edmonds fan. And I'm very salty. He's one of the biggest snubs, I think.
One and done.
Under 5%.
To be fair, I don't think either of them quite deserve to be in.
Off the bat,
I don't. No,
Or
I
you
don't.
mean as a
I
whole?
don't think
Okay,
either
okay,
of them
as a whole.
deserve to quite
Yeah.
be in at all.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm a little bit salty that here Andrew Jones is qualified for his 8th year in a row.
Yeah,
and
didn't get a fair shake.
Edmonds was one and done,
Yeah.
gone. I think that he deserved a better look, and
Yeah.
Andrew Jones at 61% is meddling with getting
a very
in.
good look. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Edmonds, he will, I think, go to one of these committees. I think he will get a second look.
I
don't know that.
I think that he's pretty well known as being one of the biggest, not snubs, but like didn't get a fair shake.
That's where I'm at exactly. Because you look at the numbers. We'll get nerd on you for a minute. Edmonds had the higher career average, like the OPS, all that. If you break it down by percentage of plate appearances, the offensive production they had, it's Edmonds.
Yes.
And that I actually thought was closer than it was. Jones has him on longevity, home runs and stuff. He had more at bats, but his average was like Jones was like a 250 hit.
I think Edmonds he retired just a few home runs shy of 400.
Yeah, he was 396 if I remember right. He was right there. Injuries got him in.
Yep.
And I mean, if you look at offensively, honestly, I think Edmonds was a superior player. I mean, he was a force for a longer amount of time, I thought.
And the defense, man, it's so tough to check that too.
See,
I think Andrew Jones was probably the better all-around defender.
He was.
And Edmonds made the crazy
highlight plays. See, all right, here's where I think I might have been slightly off on it, the defensive aspect of it. Edmonds was great. He won 8 Gold Gloves, I think.
Yeah.
Jones won 10. I don't care. That's about a wash.
Yeah.
But like you said, now that they've got these sabermetrics, they've went through this, and the ground that Jones covered compared to Edmonds was actually far superior.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you have a very great point on the highlight reel plays. Edmonds, climbing the wall.
I used to have a poster in my wall of him robbing Jason
LaRue's
home runs.
Dead center? Yep.
Yeah.
I said a couple times he made Izzy a way better closer. So his home runs he took away. But the diving catches, and for me, what Edmonds had was this study of the game, this knack. And
Nobody read the ball off the bat better than that.
Right. And you listen to him on the broadcast, like he explains what you should be seeing in center. He knew what pitch was coming, knew where it was, where the ball would go. That led to the jumps, I think naturally Jones had him beat. But when you look at this, like the study he put in,
he had a very neurological way. Is that the word? Neurological way of playing center field. Man, I tried the big word and I swung and missed.
We pass on that. There you go. We pass on that sometimes. But I appreciate you for going there. That's good. So he was a very freaking smart player.
Yes.
There we go. That's a dummy way. That being said, the more I looked into it, I was like, okay, I do see people arguing for Jones being a little superior to it. But for me, the moments to, like, if you think of postseason heroics, Andrew Jones, what do you think of? I can't
believe he's one of the youngest to ever homer in the World Series.
Yes. Did it win them a game? Anything? Maybe
I think they did win that game. I think they won. Yes.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. I believe he was 19 years old. I think they won game 1 of that series.
Well, I'll be dang, that's slightly impressive. Went 1996, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I was 4, so I might have forgot that.
Yep.
But I was thinking with Edmonds, the clutch catches. A lot of these happened in LCS.
NLCS home run against the Astros.
Boom. Oh. Yeah, literally walk off, send it to Game 7.
Yep.
Like, there's so many moments as a Cardinal fan seeing him envisioning it. I was like, man, the clutch gene I thought he had.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my plan. Like my whole point to wrap this up. You look at the numbers, everything. Jones was not that far superior to Edmonds that he should be in with Edmonds.
They're probably two of the most comparable players that you can think of.
Yeah. Because
of how they were offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they should have had comparable fates in this. Well, this isn't even close. So I don't mean to be biased, but I always think of Andrew Jones like as the greatest players of that time. Like when we were growing up watching, like he had a couple of years he was amazing, but as a whole, like especially with LA and all, I was like he was an afterthought.
Yeah,
he wasn't even. You think Braves lineup? I think Chipper, honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I
when you think of that team, you think of the pitching anyhow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, all Hall of Famers. There you go. So
well, we gotta get moving on with our list. We gotta finish it up this
segment. We might go over on a little bit, but this is good discussion on these guys. Beltran, man, you think that if the other stuff hadn't came out,
I think he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
I agree. 400 homers, 300 steals.
At this point, I think that he's gonna get wrapped up with the Bonds and Clemens crowd, and
which stinks because there's no PED ties to my knowledge to him, is there?
Okay, maybe he's more like the A-Rod's PEDs too.
PEDs,
Kurt Schilling? Yeah. Just don't like him.
He's just a chump, as my daughter would say. He's a chump. I don't think he gets in. I don't know that he ever gets in because, like, they literally were cheating, like stealing signs. Yeah. That's always happened. But when they use electronic devices, all this,
Yeah.
Got caught with that, and what stinks, it was the end of his career. Like, he was
Yeah,
a
and
Hall of Famer
I
before.
kind of, from what I understand, as more surfaced, he was kind of the ringleader
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And then you're like, okay, what's he done his whole career and stuff, you
Right.
know? What he did on the field, like, I'll never forget 2004 when we beat him, but Beltran had like 8 homers against us. That NLCS like went bonkers. He was a force for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Played for us.
he sat and got buckled by an Uncle Charlie one time too.
He did, yeah, with the Mets. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He's on a lot of posters there.
Yeah.
So, I think, though, given the cheating allegations, this will come back to a later conversation about how special place in the Hall for some of these guys. Might be there. Next guy, A-Rod. No go.
No go.
For me. Like,
probably one of the top 5 best hitters.
Yeah.
10. I'll say top 10 best hitters in the game. But, you know.
And what really gets him for me on the cheating aspect of it is a lot of these guys did it before it was illegal. A-Rod literally got popped when it was illegal.
When it was in its height.
Yeah. Like, he failed the drug test. He got suspended for it.
Yeah.
That for sure. Like, a lot of these other guys, it's like, okay, yeah, they did steroids and stuff, but, you know, technically it wasn't illegal at the time.
Right.
You know. So, I don't know. For him, it's like I said, if they make a special place in the Hall, in. But right now,
yeah.
no. Manny?
Same
thing?
Same thing. It sucks because
got
Manny was
suspended
one of my favorites. I loved me some Manny. He was at least a likable guy. A-Rod not quite as much.
A-Rod,
Although I do think he's great on the MLB Network.
He is. He's a personality.
Yeah.
I mean, on the field, you wanted to go all Veritek and punch him in the face. You know, that was probably one of the coolest moments.
Right.
You know? But yeah, I think that Manny, and I loved him too. I loved you never knew, like the high-fiving fans. Disappearing into the green monster. Like, where'd Manny go? Nobody knows, you know. I had to pee, sorry. You know, it was cool, but I think you can't realistically put him in. And it stinks.
You open up a floodgate if you let him in.
Yeah, yep, and he was a great hitter. Actually, per plate appearance, better than A-Rod, possibly.
Yeah, I would say that.
All that. The next guy, Chase Utley. This is his 2nd year on the ballot. Sorry, Manny's in his 9th year, so he's about done anyway.
Yes.
Utley, 2nd year. I don't see it.
Just, I mean, a very good player for a long time, but
Yeah.
just nothing.
He was a very good player on some good teams, but
Yes.
never won an MVP. Like, he wasn't even, you think of that team, I think like Jimmy Rollins.
He was never the guy on those
Yeah.
good teams.
Yeah, you had Ryan Howard, you had other guys. And the longevity, that's the other thing. He didn't have the counting stats. So, I'm out on him. Omar Vizquel, 8th year. I'm conflicted on this one.
Outside of the Wizards, he's probably the best defensive shortstop of all time.
He was. I think he had 2,800 career hits. Like, he has some counting numbers.
On some pretty good Indians teams.
Yep, and was it the Mariners too? Like, he was on some good teams.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with Omar. It goes back to, like, I look at it as guys like you would fear on the team or very dominant.
On those Mariners teams, it was Edgar Martinez.
You never thought, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You never thought Omar. With Ozzy, at least he was the top of the lineup. He hit. He brought that speed element. Yes, he was not a great hitter at all. But,
No, but he hit when it mattered.
Yeah, and he had one of the most iconic home runs.
Yeah.
He did. I am really on the fence with him. I'm going to lean in. I don't know if he'll get it with the Hall because the Gold Gloves, 11 Gold Gloves. He only made 3 All-Star teams. I was like, man, that's kind of rough, you know.
Yeah.
Really looked into this, compared him to Ozzy. And defensively, what it was that I'm not going to go nerd on you guys, bring up the numbers. Ozzy was like in his own class, analytically wise anyway, with balls he got to everything.
Yeah.
Vizquel's super sure-handed, but like Ozzy's in a class of his own on that.
Yeah,
just put him,
for sure.
So, I don't know that he did enough. I'm going to lean barely in. Where are you at?
I'm going to say barely out.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think he will probably go to Veterans Committee or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he gets voted in the next 3 years without he need to. So I agree with that.
Yep.
If he gets in, it'll be via the Veterans Committee.
Yeah, I think so. Bobby Abreu, he's another one, 6th year. I don't see it.
No. This is a guy that I could actually see falling off the ballot before he gets to his 10th year.
Yeah, I could see his percentage dropping because some of these guys coming on will bump him.
Yep.
I think. So I'm out on him. Nothing special, no MVPs, nothing. A good player, but we're talking Hall of Fame. He's in his good player category. J-Roll, Jimmy Rollins. Man, I'm still not going there.
I don't see it. He
won an MVP.
Good.
He was
out of the
catalyst.
2 old Phillies there betwing him and Chase Utley. I like Rollins better.
I agree 100%.
I don't think either of them are the guy that gets on. I think the guy that won those World Series, RIP.
Yeah.
He already made it in.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
He was the ace. Doc loved him. I'm gonna hit one more before we go to break here. Andy Pettit, 7th year. I was conflicted on this one too. What did you say earlier?
PEDs. It sucks because his postseason heroics were outstanding.
Right.
And I think he's in if it weren't for the PED suspicions.
I agree 100%.
Did he actually pop on a test?
No, but he was involved like Clemens in so many like ties and stuff, and they played together. New York, Houston for forever. I don't know if it's guilty by association. I don't know, but I've got to lean not. And also, he didn't make 300 wins. Like he didn't give you a reason that you can't bring PEDs up, and like which PEDs is a big deal on it. But he's not a slam dunk case either way. So, all right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back and finish these guys and talk the new guys. All right, we are back, and we back.
We are.
All right, we're going to talk, continue going on the guys still on it, and then we'll get to the new guys. Mark Burley's next. And what do you think? It's a lefty like yourself.
Well, I do love me a big lefty, and Mark Burley is just that.
And he nailed it. Yeah.
He's got. We couldn't decide if he's got one perfect game or two perfect games, but he definitely had one and then a no-hitter to go with it.
He had 2 amazing games.
He had 2 great games. That being said, his peak was very high.
So he also had some amazing chugs at Busch Stadium. I seen him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you know what? He might get in.
I respect it at least. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that he's good enough to get in there. I think that he's been pretty mid. Comparison that we talked about earlier is for your modern day baseball fan, go and look at Lucas Giolito.
Yeah.
And compare Mark Burley. Mark Burley's got a few accolades that Giolito has not hit. Maybe he will one day.
Longevity too, if Giolito could keep going. Yes, that's fair. Also, same team, easy to compare. I get you.
Yep.
For me, agree. It's the good but not great category.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't really get there. And he doesn't have – the other thing is if you're good but not great, you have to have the counting numbers. Didn't have that here. So, next thing, that's K-Rod, who was – oh, my gosh. He came up as like a 20-year-old in the World Series with the Angels back in, 2002?
Yeah.
Like, was amazing. Does he still have the record for saves in the season? No.
I think Gagne's got it.
No, Gagne had consecutive.
That's
K-Rod
right.
had more. He might. The thing of it is, he had a very rough end of his career, and I'd say no right now.
Yeah.
Think if he
but there's a market for closers getting a little bit more of a representation.
Well, look at Wagner's path.
Yeah.
This is year 10. If he can survive a few years, gain a little more steam, I think I'm not going to say no totally, but for now, I don't.
He's definitely getting in for a little bit. Like I think that he'll have to chill out for a few more years.
Oh yeah. I think it's going to be like, hey, will you get in or be off it? Like a 9th, 10th year scenario. So that's where I'm at with him. This next guy, Torrey Hunter, 5th year on the ballot. I'm saying no. I
don't know a whole lot about Torrey's counting stats, so I know the name and I know that he's pretty good.
Yeah. He was amazing defensively. Like I'll never forget that home run he robbed off Bonds in the All-Star game. That Bonds then juiced as all get out, walks out there, picks him up, carrying him around. Like it was a cool moment. A cool moment. He set the standard in center for the AL. Now he didn't really compare to Andrew Jones, I don't believe. Who does, honestly? But I just don't think he had the offensive numbers. Combine it together. This is another one that kind of ticks me off that we're not having Edmonds on his 5th year or something.
Yeah.
Because I didn't compare him, but I'd like to see those guys compared.
Well, I'd say that Edmonds had quite a bit better power numbers, right?
Oh, he did. Yeah. I'm sure he did. I think Edmonds would compare favorably. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, like I'm out. I'm Torrey. I really am.
I agree. All right with that.
The next guy's David Wright. I'm out because of longevity.
Too many injuries.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the best third basemen of his generation.
Yeah.
If he could stay on the field.
He was Captain America. Like he was great. Carried that city, but you just don't have. What do you have? 6-7 years healthy, and it stinks. I hate it. I like the guy, but you got to be real about it.
Different position, but a guy that comes to mind for me with him to compare to is Nomar Garciaparra.
Yes,
a guy that in their peak is one of the best players of his generation, but just could not stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And where'd Nomar end up? He's not. We're not talking about him right now.
Exactly.
That's where Wright will be, I think. All right, well, that's all for the guys still existing on it. Surviving. David Wright, oh, man, he was 6.2. Hunter was 7.3. Hanging on by their little chin.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he's off the ballot after this year.
I wouldn't either. I really wouldn't. All right, so we're going to start it right off here with the guy that I think we both agree is unanimous. I think, well, everybody voting should. Ichiro.
The guy got 3,000 hits and didn't get into the league until he was 28 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
He had another 1,500 hits in Japan.
I think, didn't he have more than Rose if you combine the two?
Yes.
I thought so.
By a fairly significant amount. But then again, if you count Rose's minor league hits, Rose is the person that says this.
Oh.
If you count my minor league hits, I beat that.
Well, look at Ichiro in high school over there, whatever they did in Japan, you know.
Yeah, he's still going.
Yeah, exactly. And I started to say, did they count Rose's prison hits and rec ball? Or,
ooh.
Too
soon.
I'm sorry.
Too soon.
Sorry, buddy. I did like Pete Rose. I really did. But, man, I don't know about that one. I think, honestly, this is one that, like, if you don't vote him in, you should give up that voter card. Like, I
agree.
I don't say you can't.
You don't have any credibility if you're not voting in.
Because not only the hits, this is what he had on Rose. He was a Gold Glove defender.
I think that he had. Fun Ichiro fact.
Oh, I love it. I love Roger's facts.
In the fourth at bat of Ichiro's career, he got his fourth hit, making his first hit to make him over 300. That put him over 300 average, and the rest of his career, he never did below it again.
I gotcha. Okay.
I butchered that stat there.
This is a roller coaster.
But yeah, in his fourth at bat, he eclipsed the 300 mark. Batting average and never went below it again.
First, I was like, I don't even know what my brain was like.
Yeah.
Cool stat.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Over 300, never went back. And he played a long time. Like, he was, oh my gosh, that's what we got to realize. When he was playing with the Marlins, he was like, 40-something and still had that slap hit. And what I love, someone said once that from his BPs, they said Ichiro could go out and hit you 20, 25 home runs. He doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Like, he treated the bat as a craft. And it was like Tony Gwynn-esque.
I believe he had 10 consecutive 200-hit seasons.
Yeah, he did. I think that's right. I said that more confident than I should have been.
Yeah.
Sounds right. I'll buy it. I mean, to get 3,000 that fast, it adds up. But in his first year, he was Rookie of the Year, MVP. Like, he took the baseball world by storm. And the other thing is, he kind of, in my mind, I'm not saying first Japanese player here, he brought that market. Like, he was the guy that, brought Japanese baseball here.
Another fun fact, his last MLB game was played in Japan.
You're right. Yeah, that series over there.
Yep.
Hey, much more smooth and fluid delivery on that.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. All right, fist bump.
Those broadcasting lessons are really paying off.
Us and our homemade broadcast school. I love it. We're doing great. Thank you guys for listening to us. But, slam dunk unanimous. I don't think, look at this list real quick, anybody else has the case like him. I mean, I didn't even talk about Ichiro's arm. I'm sorry. It was like
Cannon.
Arm. Like, yeah, when we're trying to move on and we keep talking about how good he was, I think that says it all. So, next guy I think on here that could get in, I've been like, I don't know if he's first ballot or not. CC Sabathia. I don't, let me rephrase it. I don't think he is a first ballot. I think he is going to be a Hall of Famer. He was a freaking workhorse.
Did he get to 300 wins?
No, he got 251.
Okay.
He's in the area now, pitchers after Maddox. I think it's like you don't do that anymore.
Right.
In the big unit.
I think that he was one of the last people to make a good run at it.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Well, because I was like, oh, man, no one's getting that close, like, recently and everything. And then I realized Pettit was, like, 257. Granted, he was a few years before.
Yeah.
But this is a new era of pitching. Like, CC to me
250 is the new 300.
Absolutely, yeah. 200 might become the new 300.
Yikes.
The way pitchers are going now, I could see it. That doesn't happen. But in this case, like, he had a Cy Young. I'll never forget when he came to Milwaukee, he pitched them to the postseason in 08.
Yeah.
Like, he was great there. The career ERA isn't great. It's like 3.74. He had some bad years in New York at the end of his career. Didn't help. He got to 3,000 strikeouts.
He did. And he also gave up a bonus to be able to hit a guy.
There you go.
That's one of my favorite things about CC.
You know what? That's
is
a good teammate.
A great teammate.
Yeah,
He had to pitch like 3 innings in that game to make it out with a bonus. In the second inning, someone on his team got hit.
Yeah.
He plucked the batter the next.
And he got thrown out.
Got thrown out.
That's
right before a bonus.
That's impressive. I like that. All right. Screw it. He's in for me.
He's in. He's in for me, but he's not in this year.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm gonna vote him in though, because that's the heart. We keep going to my father. I was on the fence with him. I don't know. He had a good stretch there. When I reevaluate as far as the win total, what that means now, and all, man, I'm gonna lean him in, but I would not be surprised at all if he has to wait a while.
He's not got a ton of competition this year, so I think that helps.
We're looking at right now. We'll go ahead and go through the rest of the guys, but right now we have Ichiro slam dunk, Wagner we think in, not for sure, and CC on the fence. Andrew Jones, I'm saying no, honestly.
I'm gonna say no as well.
I'm gonna say no. CC might end up in that 60-70% threshold. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we'll go ahead and go through the rest of the guys on here. We'll start with Dustin Pedroia.
PD.
Different one. Laser Show. Or did he get? Did he? PED?
No, PD.
Yeah, PD. Okay, no PEDs with this guy.
PD, like his nickname, PD.
I was thinking Laser Show. Like, that's what I remember him off the Monster. Laser Show, he was great. The story of the guy's like 5'10", what, $150?
Yeah.
And what he did.
Tons of grit. Tons of grit.
Yeah, you talk miles.
Miles and miles of heart.
If I was going sentimental, I'm like, put him in.
Put him in.
Put him in. He won an MVP too. World Series.
He also played 10 years with David Ortiz before David learned his name was Dustin.
You're Big Pappy. You don't have to know names. You know. Is he the one who called him Petey then?
Yeah, he called him Petey.
Okay, I didn't know that
Yep.
one. That's great. See, I'm learning something from you every segment. This is great.
Yep.
They don't have the counting numbers. Injuries derailed his career. I'm going to say out. I feel bad saying it, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
I agree with that.
Okay. Ian Kinsler. You lead. What do you think?
I mean, if Petey's not in, Kinsler's not in.
I agree. He's a guy I wouldn't want to face a clutch situation like the guy was.
Some of his prime years in Texas were outstanding.
Were amazing.
Yeah, but just didn't do it long enough.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Don't see it. Another one there, Tulo. I think same situation.
Too much injuries.
End of his career when he got traded to Toronto. If he would have had a couple years there, possibly his talent-wise, oh my gosh, he was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't see it. King Felix. Man.
I want to say yes for King Felix.
Do you?
I really do.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
Because I love King Felix.
Yeah.
Great on those Mariners teams that were pretty bad.
Yeah.
And
he was. First 10 years of career, he was a Hall of Famer. But unfortunately, that's like where his career ended.
Exactly.
He maybe had the best 4 or 5 year stretch. One of the best. Pitcher.
Did he win 2 Cy Youngs or just 1?
I think he won 2.
I thought he won 2 as well.
But like if he could win another 2-3 years just being average, but he just fell off a cliff.
He sure did.
And the numbers are not even close, like longevity wise. So.
Nope. I agree with that. I don't think he's in, but I do like me some King Felix.
I do too. And here's another guy I liked. I like Curtis Granderson as a player. He was exciting, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
A guy that had like 3 to 5 really great years.
Yeah, exactly. And he seemed like a very cool guy. I love him on MLB Network, whatever he's on, but I don't think that stacks up. I really don't. Let's go. Ben Zobrist. Cub. We can't talk about that now.
No, he also played at the A's some too. The ultimate utility guy, like the Swiss Army knife, could play
Tampa,
anywhere.
That's where he started. Yeah, he's a cool dude. I really like the guy, but this is the Hall of Fame. I'm out. Russell Martin, same way.
I mean, you don't get to be in just because you're a Yankees catcher.
Exactly. And Dodgers, like, cool, you played for good teams? No. Brian McCann's another one. Came up with the Braves. He was a very solid player, but it's a solid.
One of the best power hitting catchers of all time.
He was, but he also didn't have a real long career either. No, I take it back, but he didn't have a real long career being relevant, if that makes sense.
Agreed.
I'll tell you, we're going to say 2 more here, and then we'll finish this topic with one that's a little controversial. Fernando Rodney, I don't see it.
No.
Good closer, wasn't long enough. And Cargo,
really only had 2 great years, and then after that it was like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these were good players, but not Hall of Fame.
Forgot Adam Jones, man.
I was going to get to him on the other side of the break. So, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, wrap that up, and conclude our Hall of Fame thoughts.
Sounds good.
We are back, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this whole show up. We had 2 more guys I wanted your thoughts on. Hanley Ramirez and Adam Jones. I'm saying no on both.
I am as well.
Okay.
I think that this is the year of the really bright shortstops for a few years.
Yeah.
But
dude, Hanley to me was a Hall of Fame talent, but the head case problems. You talk about he was a 5-tool player to me.
Oh my gosh. Early in his career, Hanley Ramirez looks like he was going to take the MLB by storm.
Yeah, absolutely. He was amazing. And there was a lot of controversy that seemed like it followed him to Boston, wherever he went. And it was like he never just took that next step.
Yeah.
He's got decent numbers out there, but and maybe it's me being more disappointed what he ended up being, but I was like, no.
You had him in a dynasty league, didn't you?
I did. We're a little salty for fantasy baseball. Yeah, not gonna lie. But I don't know. I'm out on Hanley. And Adam Jones, there's the other one. Like, he had a little bit of longevity, but I just didn't think he was like The guy, he was the guy for Baltimore. It was a bad team, but I didn't think he was the guy. You looked at the league, it's like, okay, Adam Jones, Orioles.
Yeah, world beater Adam Jones.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. He won a few Gold Gloves, I think.
Yeah.
He was very good, but it's like I don't even think he reaches that Edmonds Jones, other Jones.
Agreed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So you agree the same on that?
I agree.
Okay.
I don't put either of those guys in.
Well, I say those guys as like there might be a little different opinion there. Wasn't for sure.
No,
but,
I think he's well below both of those guys.
Okay. Well, let's see if you agree on this statement then. All these PED guys, and don't turn me off here, Wabash, whatever you are, I actually want them in the Hall, but in their special place.
I agree.
Okay, all right.
I agree with that. I actually, we've brought this up a few times now. In my opinion, Barry Bonds is probably the best player of all time.
I think I agree. I really do.
I think that
the all-around game.
Yeah, I would even put him above Babe Ruth.
I honestly think I agree. I really do.
I think he's the purest and not really even that close best hitter.
Well, that's a shame of this. Even before steroids, he was
He's
on track to be. Yeah, he was a Hall of Famer. Was he on track to be the greatest ever? Probably not. But he was a Hall of Famer.
If he would have stayed skinny, do you think he would have still been a 500 guy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think that he had enough pop.
I think he would have had enough pop. Yeah, I do. Because even those early Giants days, I mean, Pirates days, he was a 30-homer guy. Like mid to upper 30s, complete game. Defensively, he was a Gold Glover. He literally checked all the boxes. And then that. But, I mean...
Pretty crazy to see his steals go from 40 a season to...
Yeah. And then
what's
the
a
home runs
stolen base?
double. And, I don't do that. That's, what is that, 60 feet away? I'm not running there. Defensively, though, he went from... This was like a Marcell Ozuna over 10 years.
Yeah.
Won a Gold Glove. Ozuna shouldn't have. But anyway, Bonds was a Gold Glover, and at the end of his career, it's like, gosh, dang it. Why do we not have a DH
absolute
in the
liability?
Yeah. It's like, okay, the center fielder's going to play in left. And we're going to put Barry by the line, and you just stay there.
Yeah.
You stay there, you get a dinger next to bat. We don't care. But no, what I was going to get at here is, okay, in 1994, they had the strike. Baseball was at an all-time low after that. What brought people back?
Dingers.
98. That home run chase.
Dingers.
McGuire, Sosa. And I'm like, okay, and technically, I don't believe anabolic steroids they took were illegal at the time. Frowned upon, shouldn't have done it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning cheating.
McGuire's were prescribed.
They were. He had a bad back, guys. Come on. He had a bad back. No, what I do respect about McGuire in that instance is he came out years later. It's like, okay, I did.
Yeah.
He came clean. And me personally, I respect that when someone like, we all make mistakes. We do. Right or the wrong. Now, he probably shouldn't have denied it at the beginning. But still, he came out. We're not going to get into that whole saga. But he did that. He came back with Padres. He was a heck of a hitting coach with us.
Yes.
And, I mean, he got back in baseball. Like, he didn't run and hide. Like you see Sosa, someone doing. Maybe it's the Sun's too mean to Sammy now. I don't know.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on with Sosa.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on. He is. Well, I guess my whole point of this argument is, like, those guys essentially, I'm not going to say totally saved baseball, but they brought baseball back to the forefront. They made it exciting.
Yeah.
They were good for the game. Bonds, 0-1, the home run chase, what all he did. Like, he was, don't like the guy. He was arrogant, all this. I don't like him, but I respect what he did for baseball. Like, he was must-see TV.
Oh, yeah.
Was he not?
Not only was he just the most powerhouse of a hitter I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
On base, but, like, his ability to, like, he took a ton of walks even before he was starting to get them on purpose.
He did, yeah. The intentional walk number he had one year was like 140. He had more intentional walks than the next guy had walks. Yeah. It was nuts. But you can't say you weren't entertained by this. Like him, don't like him. It was, those guys brought people the game. And now I do not think they're straight up, put them in the Hall. But I would like it if baseball would, like, put a section of it for, like, the steroid era. Guys, associated with that. Because, I mean, right now, what do you think? You got McGuire, you got Sosa, you got Bonds, Clemens, Pettit for sure being, A-Rod.
I think that Clemens is probably the other side of the ball version of Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably one of the top 5 best pitchers of all time. I believe.
Absolutely. He's hands down.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I guess I was thinking this sounds really dumb, but I was like, he's a pitcher. Like, what, adding a mile or hour or whatever, Well, I guess a lot of that led to the longevity, the rebound,
exactly.
everything. Like,
I believe he won 7 Cy Youngs.
I don't know if it's that many. I was thinking 5, but it
maybe
might
5.
be.
No,
we'll
Barry Bonds won 7 MVPs.
Yeah, we'll say 6 in the middle, but no, I think
it's
more like
5.
4 or 5 somewhere
I think
down in
it's
there. Yeah, but regardless of numbers, everything, he is a Hall of Famer if you're not thinking steroids. Like,
it's not close.
There's no argument for it. There's not.
Did he get 4,000 Ks?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And he had, like I said, the Cy Young's, the no hitters. He had a fair amount of them. What did he win? A couple? Did he win a championship or 2? I think. Pretty sure he won New York.
Yes, he won.
Yeah,
one.
almost with Houston.
Yeah.
And then you could look at guys like Rafael Palmeiro. Have a hard time with him when he literally pointed to Congress lying on that. But still, we're letting these guys in. He deserves.
He had 500 career home runs.
Yeah,
that's a benchmark that got you in almost automatically.
Yeah. He was a force for a long time. He was a very good player. Manny, talked about that. I think one of the best hitters ever. I really do.
One of the pure hitters.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He had over 500 homers, over 300 average, I believe. His OPS is over 900. It was amazing. And here's another one that actually I was realizing Ivan Rodriguez Pudge is in the Hall, and he had PEDs associated with him on numerous things.
Same with Jeff Bagwell and Mike Piazza.
That's fair. That's fair. So I'm like, it's a gray area already, I think. And I don't think you can totally ignore what these guys did at the game. Schilling, that's another one. I think that's half the steroid accusations, half that he's an a-hole,
I think it's more he's an a-hole.
Yeah. There's a lot there, but you look at what the guy did, I'm like, I think...
Didn't he also get himself blacklisted from ESPN?
He did something really dumb. Yeah, he did, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
So, but you had the Cy Youngs, you had the Bloody Sock, he was amazing. I had some other guys, Juan Gonzalez, Giambi, Brett Boone, and the granddaddy of them all, Jose Canseco. That might really test the a-hole theory. I'm like, man, I don't know if we can.
It's he's an a-hole and he did PEDs?
And he did, yeah. I don't know.
He also has a podcast now where he's chasing Bigfoot and stuff.
Well, he's nuts. He was trying to fight, right? He had all these, circus animal fights. I don't know.
The guy's a little bit off his rocker.
There's not much. And what did he say? Something about would be, was it Judge in a wiffle ball home run derby or something way out? It's stuff you can't even really, dude? I don't even know. So he's pressing. But these were names I wanted to mention that, okay, I might be unpopular opinion, but in my mind, a little section for him. Sure, give him a little closet, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I think when you talk baseball greats and stuff in the game, you look at the game's history decade by decade, I think they should be mentioned. So,
I agree with that.
That's where I'm at with that. I wanted to run by 2 before we run out of time here. Some snubs I had a hard time with being first ballot snubs here. Get your thoughts on these.
Okay.
We already talked about Edmonds enough, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we've
a lot of
beat
words
that
we shouldn't
horse.
discuss. Yeah. Kenny Lofton, another guy. 500 and
Feels
some
like
steals.
that guy should get in.
He was first ballot off, under 5%.
Man, that's Gibby's
had a hard time
boy.
with that.
That's Gibby's boy.
Yeah, absolutely. He was cool, dude, and he, the numbers are there. I didn't really get that one. Longevity was there.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Delgado, forgot about him, but
big man.
Big man hit ball far.
Big man hit ball very far.
He did. I was deserved more of a look than that, I thought.
That's one that you got coming up that's very comparable, being your Nelson Cruz.
Yes, exactly.
Very comparable players.
Well, at least this guy stayed on the field playing first base. Not good, but he was on the field longer.
Yeah.
So, might have been a bad thing, actually.
Nelson Cruz stayed around longer, but just as bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he stuck around for almost a decade as a DH.
Yeah, he did. I think after the 2011 right field debacle, I think that was about the end of his days in the field.
Yeah.
Pretty close to it. Last 2 are 2 Yankees, Jorge Posada and Bernie Williams. I looked at numbers in Posada. I thought it was pretty comparable to Joe Mauer.
Yeah.
Mauer got in first ballot.
Did he ever win a batting title, though?
No, I don't believe so. But,
yeah.
he had him on counting stats. He won. If you look at postseason success, Posada won a fair amount.
Well, he's on the Yankees.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he was the catcher of it, and he wasn't great defensively. So, but what I'm getting
Posada's a guy that I could see getting another look for sure.
I think he should. I guess what I was getting at, not to argue if they should be in or not, but the 5% aspect that Mauer went in first ballot, Posada was off first chance.
Yeah.
That didn't sit well with me, I think.
Yeah,
And
I think
I'm
it was the 2 batting titles for Mauer and an MVP.
Yeah, that did help. Did he win MVP? I thought it was more now. Did Mauer? Maybe
Mauer won an MVP.
He did win MVP? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that helps. But those are the guys I thought. Bernie Williams, I said he was fringy, but I was I think if we're talking some of these other guys lasting 5-6 turns through the ballot, I think he probably deserved it.
Yeah.
But, we're going to finish here with names coming up. Give you guys something to look forward to. And I just want your quick thoughts. Shoot from the hip here. We just got a few minutes left. So, 2026, the top names. This is a weak class to me.
Okay.
Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun, Alex Gordon. Any of them?
No.
Agree.
Braun, mostly because of his PEDs.
Absolutely.
And Gordon, not good enough.
Yep.
And what was the first name?
Cole Hamels.
Hamels, too short of a career.
I agree. He had some highs, but he never even won a Cy Young. I think he got a World Series MVP, but I'm in.
A lot of times wasn't the best pitcher on his team.
No, he was like the 3 in the Halladay years. Yep. I kind of had the good but not great category. Braun, I agree. Like if we're talking PEDs, no chance. Okay, 2027. Buster Posey. Slam dunk.
Yes.
I'm there.
But I think that also paves the way for our boy Yadier Molina.
He's coming. He's coming. Yep. And I don't think that's Cardinal bias aside. I think he's in. John Lester, Ryan Zimmerman. These are the top names I saw.
Zimmerman, not a chance. John Lester, you might get a little bit more look.
Yeah.
But I still think no.
I don't think he was A, dominant enough at his peak, or B, lasted long enough.
Agreed.
That's where I'm at with that. Here's what we're waiting for in 2028. Our guys, Pujols, Yachty.
If Pujols isn't unanimous,
yes.
the voters need their card taken away.
He's up there with Ichiro.
Yes.
Unanimous or you're a joke. You're a freaking joke.
Yep.
In my
Agreed.
Mind. So, and this isn't just Cardinal fan. Like, you look at the numbers, 700 homers.
Molina, I think, gets in.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be first ballot.
I don't either. I think he should.
I think he should be, but I don't think he will be.
I think if Posey is, I think Yachty should be first ballot. But I do think he gets in.
Yes, I think it depends on what we see from Posey.
Yeah. I agree. That's a good point.
And I think Yachty gets more of the catcher's boost than Posey does. He played his whole career there.
And who lasted catcher as long as him, especially in the modern age? Nobody. And they made the platinum gold glove also, or the platinum glove. I'm sorry.
He basically invented pitch framing.
Yeah, he did. My guys are complaining about it. He was like, Yachty was the best at that. And the arm, legendary. The other names: Robinson Cano, David Price, Steven Strasburg.
Cano probably could be one of the best second basemen of all time.
PEDs, absolutely. That's gonna get a lot of these guys. And the other two, I just don't think they were good long enough.
Cano was he had a huge drop off too after his PED suspensions.
That was kind of fishy there. I was like,
yeah, he was pretty bad after he got the suspensions.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, as a young man, one of the best second basemen that I had ever seen in person.
I agree, 100%. The last year we got here, 2029, we got Miggy, Waino, Nelson Cruz, Joey Votto, Corey Kluber, and the bringer of rain, Josh Donaldson.
Miggy's a lock.
That's where I'm at, and that's it for me.
There's a couple others that I'd like to see. I'd like to see Votto get some looks. I don't think he's quite there.
I don't either.
I think he's going to be on that ballot for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't think he quite gets in.
I really thought him in at first. I looked at the numbers and realized
they're not as good as you'd think they would be.
They're not. They're really not.
Maybe because we got to see him crush the Cardinals for so long.
That's what I think it is. Yeah, exactly. I think it's my Cardinals seem like, oh my gosh, we can't pitch to you. And Waino, love the guy, longevity. 200 wins is great.
I would love him to just stick around a couple years.
Yeah, I if he hadn't got hurt in his prime, I think he might have made it in. But he lost a couple years that just hurt the numbers.
Honestly, if he took 2 prime years out of his career.
Tommy John and the Achilles.
Yep.
Really, that killed him. So the other guys, just not enough, long enough. Cruz had made it a long time, but I don't know. That'd be one I'd have to look at harder. But
well, because of someone of his career being as DH, you kind of have to give him the DH pull down.
Pull down, yeah, instead of the bump.
And that's
I agree.
Where all of his counting stats came from.
Exactly, I agree. I just don't think it was like peak was good enough to be DH. So that's our thoughts on the Hall. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if we try some different things like that, cool.
Yeah, we enjoyed this one, and we'd like to do some more.
Yeah. That's right. Give
We're
us some
probably going to
ideas.
be doing some more touches up as this as it gets a little bit closer to the vote in. So
yeah, absolutely. But thank you guys listening, everything, watching. All that was fun.
Yep. So, we appreciate you.
Yep.
And have a nice night.
Yep. I forgot my stay classy Southern note. Son of a bitch.